Hey everyone, and welcome to Quaternity Blitz. And today is a very special show. It's a really cool one, actually, because we have again the presence of the chess grandmaster Alexander Morozevich. Hey Alexander, it's good to see you here. Thank you for coming.
Hello. Yes, hello.
It's really nice to see you.
Thank you.
And apart from him, we have Natalie connecting from Connecticut, right? And we have Julia from Brazil. Hey everyone, it's really nice to see you all. We just have neither of them are chess grandmasters, right? Julia is a storyteller and Natalie is a physician, which is really cool actually. So we just play a really interesting game. And we're gonna run a quick analysis through it to see what are the interesting points, what we could have done better, and understand a bit of this dynamic, right? So I'll share my screen right now. So here it is. And everyone can see this is the board. I was playing whites, Julia was playing reds, Natalie's blacks, and Alexander was playing greens. So this was the initial position, and we always start with openings. Last time, Alexander, you said that you were not really sure about what was the optimal opening, and which opening you decide to go this time? I mean, which was your choice?
Waiting strategy.
Sorry?
Waiting strategy. I still don't know how to play the openings.
Yeah. So you're waiting, defending probably the horse, right? And
Not just waiting. I don't know, removing my knights without any special idea.
Julia, you opening this pawn here. I'm always curious because people usually tend to open in the either the bottom one or the upper one, but it's not usually that.
And
I see
actually, to my understanding, after these two moves from white, actually the next move S7 is very annoying for red. In my understanding, no, S7 from white is very annoying.
F7.
I mean, if red is not playing S7 themselves, then S7 from white is very annoying move. Because then goes B7 and knight jumps to B8, which is very annoying for red.
I see. Yeah, A7 and yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's something that I thought that maybe.
So in this position on the red side, I would be really scared and I would be taking some measures. Either I would go S7 myself with red, or I would go knight to B9 just to put some counter. Otherwise, it's S7 B7 knight B8 is very very unpleasant way to begin the game.
Yeah, well, black
you don't want to capture the knight, or you don't want to suffer the knight. Both options are very very unattractive for red. So
yeah,
black did the same towards you in green, right? And then
but at least I decided to put the knight here. So now now L6 K6. If she jumps, at least it will cost a pawn. So
I see. Well, and I think since from the heat, I'm to be honest, I'm a little bit lost in the openings too. I mean, I used to have really specific ones, but then I just got kind of bored for them. So I'm trying to experiment new ones, and this one clearly was not my choice for the next games, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I very usually do this, moving the central pawn in the beginning of the game like that. I feel I have to move, apart from moving inside my own game for a while, like a waiting strategy. I feel like I have to open up the way, by opening the pawns, and I don't know. Always seems like the best option is the middle one, keeping the other places protected, near the super pawns and in the upper line where my king is. So
I see.
That's why.
Well, and then I was trying to put my horse in here, and I think everyone positioning themselves. And here it comes, right? Blacks red started to give in this attack. Natalie came all the way across the board with her horse.
Before I lost them both, blending them about, yeah.
And here was my mistake and protect the super pawn. This is always because with the double attack.
Now comes the first blood. Yeah, with this b5, b7 push. Now comes the first blood. Position go only be open one day. Yeah.
Do you think it is a good strategy to trade in here, or you think it's better to? Well, I tried to wait to see if people would block that position, right? But yeah, that's what Julia ended up doing. So I think that was the first dynamic of the game, right?
Here, of course, red should jump ahead, I think. I don't think that it was
here, right?
So dangerous to jump in. Yeah, I think jumping in looks more logical because the central pawn of white looks like it's supposed to die soon. And if green will support with any push on f1, then white is doing really badly. He is under attack from both sides and position is very shaky. I don't
think. I mean, my horse for the tower, right? Or he wouldn't sacrifice his tower because
no, I doubt so. I doubt no. Yeah, this knight actually is quite annoying. Yeah, piece for white, and it will take time to remove it. And then green or black will exist most probably, and then it can be very problematic for white.
In a situation like that, Alexander, what do you think? I mean, from a defensive structure sense, what would be best? Like, what white could do to get away in the better way possible? Like trying to defend the structure or not trying to trade important pieces? What do you think would be more interesting?
No, it's hard to say, but anyway, you will probably suffer some damage. Then you just need to evaluate what is worst or what is less. So I think after red jumped back, it's slightly easier for you. Okay, black jumps in, that's good. Okay, I support. And now, of course, it's essential to keep a central pawn. You just can't leave it unprotected. So I don't know. This is a huge mistake, I believe. Just maybe go with the bishop to c3. Just try to keep it. Okay, it's unpleasant because I will probably take and the lines go on to be open. But okay, but at least it's probably the lesser evil. So okay, to suffer in that way.
Yeah,
because the way you played, you are suffering anyway, but you're giving so many tempers. I'm taking, black is taking, and then you're suffering too much. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I was just trying to open in less lines as possible, right? Because I mean, if you put the bishop here, maybe I can maintain this structure, but I was really wanting to.
This move makes sense only in case if black will change the mind and not take a central pawn.
Yeah.
If for some reason black decides to be very, very generous, then okay. But if not, then what?
Yeah, not Natalie. Not Natalie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was actually eyeing the red bishop. I wasn't even sure I was going to go for you. So if you'd covered it, I actually would have gone for Julia because she had a hanging bishop for a portion of it, which is later on why I moved back because I was going to nibble that one.
Oh, that's true. Well, here goes my central pawn. It's horrible. Then attacks the queen, and then the person. I think when you do mistakes like that, it's hard to get out of this state of emotional. Oh my God! I mean, what I do? Then you just go down the. Well, and here it comes.
Okay, now actually it's 3 attacking ones. So white should disappear very quickly. So I decided that after I took here, I will stop playing against white. Because I don't like the strategy 3 killing 1 because I believe it simply makes no chance for this one guy. So. And I don't like to be generous when already a person is half or almost died. Let's say you killed half of his pieces and suddenly you becoming his friend. I don't believe in such a friendship. So I think that you have to stop earlier. Okay, I took one pawn and I stopped. So I sort of give a hand of support when it's not too late. Yeah. I don't hear any sound.
Oh, sorry, guys. I think my internet.
Yeah, it looks like it was no sound, yeah?
Sorry. I think the rain arrived. Julia, I think you're muted. Can you all hear Julia? No?
He's attacking the same person and stop.
Yeah.
Going for him.
Natalie, Julia, can you hear us?
Yes. Aren't you hearing me?
Now
yes,
I am.
Yes, I can, but not Natalie looks out a bit.
Yeah, I think she has maybe internet problems in US, but she's probably gonna jump back in a minute. But
you didn't hear what I said then, did you?
Probably not.
No.
Okay.
You want to say again? You're here to hear it.
No, it's all right. I was just saying very, very important, this thing of not attacking, of that Alexander said, of not keeping going for the attack on white when everybody's attacking the same person. This is something I think worthy of being remarked, you know?
Yeah, and for me, an interesting point is like when that changes in the game, right? Because you're saying, well, not for now. And when is the moment that you think, all right, now it's okay for me to jump back in this action?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a kind of a parameter for that, Alexander, or is just like the feeling? No, yeah, right.
Okay, obviously white is dead loss here. So if we continue destroying this, so I thought that okay, I just took your pawn because I don't want to calculate what could happen if you would play here first. But basically, after that, I decided that I will try to find a new way of playing. So. Because I see red is eating full. So okay, and if let's say now I'm playing with my pawns or whatever, we can take lots of your pieces. So, and that's why I wanted to find some new way of playing.
Yeah. And then here I try to give you space to close. And
well, but I was surprised that for so many moves, this pawn on B6 somehow is not bothering neither color, not white or red, not paying any attention to the pawn, because okay, if pawn pushes forward, white resigns. Yes, so.
Oh, that's true. That's a good call.
Essential to take it as fast as possible, but for a couple of moves, you are not paying any attention to the pawn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think personally, for me, it was hard to like try. That's what I said. It was hard for me to try to organize my defense because it was just, I didn't have the central pawn, I have an open line here, an open line here. It was hard for me to take a breath. And usually when that happens, people go all the way down. So I'm not used to, well, now what? What do you do, right?
Mm. Yes, it was. Of course, it was your last chance to take the pawn, okay, but you still keep it here, yeah.
Now I think now it takes it.
Yeah. So, better late than never ever, yeah.
Well, and now it was the sad moment when Natalie Luther lost her first pawn. Yeah, Nat.
I don't know why what was I thinking? I'm trying to. Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that Alex was still going to come with his line of green pawns, and I wanted to keep that structure. I
thought that black has just blundered tonight, and I thought, okay, just to punish immediately is probably not really a gentleman approach. So I decided, okay, I give one free chance to save the knight. Second free chance you need to wait.
And Natalie just
No, so I thought what was going to happen was that the green line was going to like continue, like the J line pawn was potentially going to continue and then like threaten the rook. And then I was like sort of disorganized and stuck. So I was trying to free up that. I was trying to protect my J8 pawn a little better. So I forgot about the horse.
And now that was an interesting move for me. I'm not now, I think it's the next one. Well, now red jumps with the horse. Mm-hmm. Natalie, I don't know. I don't think Natalie was wanting to trade, but she was just like trying to scare me a little bit more, right? Yeah. Because it's fun. But well, it's a little bit, I'm just trying to. Now you get back here, Julia. It was interesting. because I would not trade, right? I would not be able to trade with you this. Well, I could, but I didn't want to.
Of course. I didn't. I was just like terrified seeing this queen getting so close to my horse. Of course you wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
You're a queen like that.
Natalie tried to open to Julia a little bit. Alexander probably. Now, this is the move I said that I was thinking, because queen, as I said, Alexander, you're trying to keep a distance for me. And I was really aiming for like trying to break Natalie's defense in a way. But I thought that you maybe felt attacked on this pawn because it was unprotected. So I was feeling that this is always something that I got curious. Should I kind of wait to not seems like I'm trying to attack someone that I'm not trying to attack? This is an interesting aspect for me of this game, right? At the moment, I was like black. I want to open diagonals line with black.
No, since you're dying against red, I think it's not time to attack. Because, okay, red will take your pawn with the tempo, open the files, and basically you are simply dying there. So, okay, probably you decided to die like a man. I mean, but anyway, it's hard to start any active action when you're almost killed in the other part of the board. So, and that's why I thought you just trying to berserk everyone. You are just completely unpredictable. Jump with the knight, and nobody knows whom you will attack. Red, green, black. And that's why I need to be cautious and just to defend.
Yeah, I know, makes sense. Completely makes sense. But then I missed the horse here, actually, because my idea was, she would not trade queens for bishop. Would take with the pawn, would open this line with red, and maybe some action would get away from.
But then you should have taken the other pawn. Yeah? If you were aiming to open lines, then you should have taken the central pawn. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Then lots of lines could be opened. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's my mistake. Yeah, Natalie just closed it. Oh, I think now is the moment the game kind of cooled down, right? I protect this pawn just to be protected. Natalie and Julia start engaging themselves in a battle.
But this red rook to d11 looks really strange, because first I can always take this rook, and secondly, if black rook takes the pawn, it's really dangerous. So, because the knight is pinned, and if white will add with opening the second flank, then red is just dying.
Yeah, Natalie had this pawn here, right? And
yeah, it is a strange move.
I'm playing calm positional game at this moment, so I'm just placing my pieces on the good squares.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a trade. Yeah, Natalie.
It was the wrong moment. I was trying to get the two of you to trade bishops. That was my purpose. But it was the wrong move, because I think you were your queen was under threat. So I don't know why I decided to do that then. So it was wasted.
Yeah, here I didn't have much spaces to put my queen, so I traded. And you didn't take it, Julia. I was curious. I thought you would definitely trade.
Yeah, yes. It would be most logical choice.
What was the trade? I missed it. Oh, that one.
Yeah, you could have it in with the pawn, and then Natalie
playing some strange game. I was only executing, some measures. I was only execute a game. Yeah, you blunder knight, I took the knight. You blunder second knight, I took the knight. You blunder pawn, I took the pawn. So I was like the executor man.
Yeah.
Never wish to be like that, but okay, what to do? Yeah.
It's good. It's like you're like a coach. You're like, wrong, do it again. Wrong, still wrong, do it again.
Yeah, here some pressure.
Unlucky trade, but I felt that I couldn't really understand what to do, because at any moment you can take my knight, and I spent like 3 tempests to reach that outpost on g3. To remove it means I need to find a new location, which will take a mess of time. So I thought, okay, I did not understand what's your intention, why you're offering trades. So I said, okay, you wish to trade? Okay, let's make it.
Well,
So
I mean, that's the same situation in there. I was actually trying to put my horse in here. I mean, to maybe threaten this pawn or something like that. And he was completely stuck. I was I'm going to take like 100 moves to get my horse in one of these houses when I can, because that's something interesting for me. And I think that's an interesting aspect.
No, but basically your position is open. You need to just attack red. You don't have any other reason. Just take on b7 with a pawn. Okay, open file, but at least you have reasonable chances against red. If black supports and takes with the rook this pawn, red most likely will be mated. So, and if you start involve massive trades with green, black, and everyone involved, then it's probably you who will be mated first.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think for me it's hard to like stay still in the game, and I think that was the moment to just like organize the defense, take a breath, and be in a strong position, right? Yeah. Well, bye horsey, and then
bye horses. Yeah.
Yeah, although when you are already under attack, it's difficult to. I mean, I don't know for the moment.
With the last two moves, red somehow stabilized a bit. Yeah. But this push of g11 looks, very creative, I would say.
On your right, because they have so much time. Everyone else has time to pitch in.
Yeah, well, here I was just trying to create some line of attack to red in a way so I can be involved in some kind of a checkmate or something if it ever goes down because of this.
Here I couldn't understand any move from this moment. Probably we players were short of time because the red rook is hanging and the red is forcing black to execute again. Yeah, like take my rook, please.
Yes.
And red and black is saying no, I will not take it. And on the special condition, I will take your rook. So it's a sort of being very nice to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still covered by the. Oh yeah.
Black didn't take again. That's true.
Okay.
No, for the rook because it's covered by the queen, and I didn't want to lose. I otherwise had like no backup, and I had left my king on the 12 line, so I needed to like move it before other. I don't know. It just
you had your queen. You had your queen, right? Because if Julia takes with the queen, you take her queen with your queen, and then
when do I win? Then everyone else can pile in and like start doing checkmates or checks, and I'm like still stuck until she can respond.
Well, for the moment, there are not any dangerous checks against you, so you could probably safely take the rook.
Trade the rooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little cautious also because I had blundered a bunch of pieces already, and I wasn't feeling great about my thinking. So I was like, I think I'll wait.
Now here I went for it. Because, well, I didn't see this double threat in here, right? So actually, that was a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but I think I give away, to Alexandra to come in here, and I could have get back with my rook, right? But in a way, I didn't want to be. I like this pawn protecting this rook in here. I don't know if it makes sense from a technical material point of view, right? But in a way, I didn't want to lose some space towards red. I didn't want to. I was still dreaming in a checkmate, right? I'm dreaming on the checkmate in red eventually, taking advantage of my position on the board, right? Well, And I think that's the moment, right, Alexander, when you decide, all right, I'm coming to white. I don't know, maybe because you feel that I was still trying to attack instead of defend myself.
No, I was still enjoying. As you can see, I was not very aggressive. I was just trying to defend my pieces and keeping some harmony and some order. So with that move, I simply protected my rook, and now I'm activating my queen. So no any specific desire to attack only white. This is really another free rook, yeah.
Yeah, but then it's interesting when you put your queen here. I feel, oh, wow, I'm not safe enough to take this. Did you intend to protect the red rook?
Well, in some sense, yes. If you would capture, I would capture your bishop here. Otherwise, you would take too many pieces for granted here. So I was trying to compensate red's blunder. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
now a check come. Yeah, check is a mess. Okay, now if I take your bishop, you resign. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're simply out from the board. Yeah.
I think I would not resign, but it will be ugly.
Okay, you are not resign, but you will resign soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm again showing some help. Yeah.
Again, deeply appreciated, I can say.
No problem. Okay.
And here, Natalie just give me a early Christmas gift.
Okay, but if she takes, I will take her rook with a fork
and threaten my queen and put me in check.
And basically taking all her pieces. Yeah, that was the point. So actually, she can't take now.
Yeah,
I see.
She can't take now. Yeah.
So
it was not only he's threatening the help was my queen and a check.
Oh, now I understand that the help was bigger than I thought. I thought we're just threatening a rook. No, you're threatening like a proper attack. Yeah. Oh, now it's more appreciated.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's a triple attack by taking that rook.
Yeah, again, I'm playing positionally, just protecting my knight, not taking a bishop, not provoking any further mess. Okay, you taking the bishop. It's logical.
Yeah, take the bishop. Thank God. Julia.
Then I gave you my bishop.
Then you're here. What?
Okay, some moves to consolidate, but basically position is far from that.
Well, and here I think I was just like dancing around, trying to. Well, this I think was when your 10 seconds bell happened, right, Julia? And then you just try to do something.
Yeah, and really couldn't think.
Actually, here I could take the red rook on D11 because it's basically hanging.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, it's red is obviously doing quite weak, so I thought it's not a big point to take this rook.
Yeah, just
position. Yeah, just improving my queen.
Though, right?
You can't move the horse.
I can't move the horse. It's pinned. Yeah. Okay.
It's pinned. Yeah, it's pinned.
Oops, sorry guys. Yeah, now I need to do that, Julia. I was not.
Actually, I was hoping that if black will take the knight, then I can take the rook and its mate. But black decided not to make any mate here. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Well, here was another queen blunder, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You are too greedy, right, Natalie? You're just too greedy.
I was getting ready. It's not greed, it was preparation, not greed. That was so painful. Ugh.
Yeah, I had to get myself out of a check. And I think now red lost by time, and that's always a pity when it happens, right? Because then the game well, and here
now actually it's a tough moment for me because I thought, okay, if I'm making positional move, then you could take with a check and black will mate. But I thought that I need to attack you to stop you from being active against red, and that's why I doubled my rooks. because I was trying to convince you that, okay, if you will take on red, then I will destroy you first.
Well,
so to stop you being active against zombie, but okay, it didn't work. You still taking, and then black mates. Okay.
Yeah, talk about the narrow. How to say when you're automatically thinking? That's. I mean, I just had 5 seconds. I was like, I need to get a mate.
Instincts are first, and the first instinct is to eat.
Yeah.
So okay, capture. Of course, capture. Yes, and then of course, mate comes. Okay.
Yeah. No, but actually. That's horrible because when you drop the piece, you're like, oh no, that's just right after it. Oh, yeah.
And then of course I execute against you first because it was like small reply to your action that, okay, guy, I warned you not to take on a 10 you take. Okay, now you got all what you have to take from me. Yeah.
Well, so I got it. Well, in my defense, I didn't understand your warning. If I had so, I would not do that. Just put it on the record.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, well, now is an interesting situation because I had the opportunity to do something against black, but I could not think in what, to be honest, right?
Actually, probably it's not easy, because I would take your queen also. With the queen jump, I can simply take your queen. So okay, you can take probably the bishop only, which is real.
Yeah, it would have been an interesting move, right? Because then but then you move. Natalie moves away, and you had my free bishop, right? So that's what.
Not a free, but okay, it's still contributional. But who will profit? We need to calculate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then it was. Not a smart move, actually. Natalie went away, and then I was... Yeah, I think that maybe didn't make any sense, but I was like kind of desperate trying to put out some pressure of this line.
Yes.
And I said, all right, so...
It's understandable, but green is on revenge, yeah, so... The executor comes, so no salvation here. Yeah, no.
Yeah, all right.
You should change your name.
Takes the most important pawn, and now the mating net is here. So.
Yeah, that's true. I try to, in a way, position myself to steal a mate in here, but no chance, no can do, right? And then, well, now I think green is in a really good. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Okay. Now, of course, green is absolutely winning here because the two forces are separated completely. You can't make any joint action against me. So.
Yeah, maybe black could have. Oh no, yeah, but then lose. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Desperate trying to a checkmate, and then the checkmate comes. The revenge. All right.
And then bishop. I didn't see that coming. I think we were.
It doesn't matter now, really. I have too many pieces.
Yeah, matter of time.
Yeah.
Well, then checkmate. Then 2 points, right, in this game. Natalie snapped the first checkmate. Thankfully for me, I would charge half a point for you later for that.
Yeah, sure.
and then 2 checkmates for to check 2 points for the remaining checkmates of Alexander. Well. Mm-hmm. I think that was our game. I had fun, guys. I mean, I hope that I learned something for the next ones at least. And I hope you too, right? Well, what do you feel about the game?
Me too. I feel like I did learn something. It is difficult, though, I learned something, especially from our talk now, by watching you guys and hearing what you're saying. But I am aware that it's difficult. It will be difficult next time to kind of put into practice what I learned here now, because, again, the time factor is very... difficult for me when I have 5 minutes, but who knows, maybe for longer games, for 15-minute games, this can be, for sure I did learn something. Very good to watch you play, and also to watch my reaction, kind of the desperate thing, it's very, and the instinct, like Alexander said, to watch this and kind of learn how to, I don't know, to be more objective. Very important, definitely learning this with each game.
That's true. So I think Thank you all. Thank you so much, Alexander. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Please come back whenever. And Natalie too, and Julia too. It's really good. Don't forget to like and subscribe, to check on our shows, to check on our content. We have more and more amazing things to come. And see you guys on the board or in the next show. Bye.
Okay. Bye. 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 Bye.